every day, the situation when it comes to money in politics gets worse and worse in this country. And I don't think that's an exaggeration. So we have a new story. This is from Axios. New. The FEC has ruled foreign donors can finance U.S. referendum campaigns, that's direct ballot initiatives, opening the door to foreign spending on fights over high-profile policy issues. This is sheer lunacy. Wait until I get to their rationale. Wait until I get to their rationale. Wait, in fact, I'll just tell you right now. Their rationale is, that's not an election, so it doesn't count. That's not an election? Well, what is it? Are we playing Parcheesi? That's not an election. What does that mean, it's not an election? Oh, an election is only when you vote for a person, not on the direct issues themselves. You're voting for a person who then votes on the direct issues. So you could argue this is even more of an election than electing a representative, because you're talking about the exact issues and voting directly on them. That doesn't count. That's not the same thing as voting. It is literally voting. Okay, insane. So, let me give you the specifics on it. Foreign nationals are barred from donating to U.S. political candidates or committees. Because of course they should fucking be. What are you, insane? You want some billionaire Saudi businessman buying a politician and making them even more corrupt than they currently are, and they're already phenomenally corrupt? You want some Israeli politician buying whatever policy they want in the U.S., and they kind of already get a lot of that, but it would make it even worse. You want some dictator doing it? Is that what you want? Of course, foreign nationals should be able to donate to U.S. politicians, because then not only are U.S. politicians going to be more beholden to corporations over their constituents, they're going to be more beholden to foreign moneyed interest and schmucks. This is crazy. So the FEC's decision is allowing foreign nationals to support ballot committees. And now they can directly affect U.S. voters and domestic policy. Previously, they couldn't. So, by the way, one of the things that is often voted on in direct referendums at the state level is redistricting. So, if some dictatorship likes the Republicans because the Republicans give them more money, more support, more weapons, why wouldn't foreign countries fund the direct ballot initiatives and propagandize the people and get them to support a Republican gerrymandering plan? They would do that. And then what would the Democrats do in response? Well, they probably have to give more money and more support and more weapons to a dictatorship, so the dictatorship either doesn't spend against the Republicans or spends in favor of the Democrats for the direct ballot referendum. So you're going to be propagandized now, not just by corporate money, but by foreign money. Now, to be fair, they didn't say specifically in this ruling that the redistricting thing can also be funded by foreign nationals. But the general idea is direct ballot initiatives, period, can be funded by foreign nationals. So whether it's on a specific issue, domestic policy, or it's on redistricting, my reading of the situation is it probably will be allowed for redistricting and not just on the specific policy issues. I think both are equally bad, though. So the decision, they say this is interesting. The decision only concerns federal law. States remain free to outlaw foreign funding for state-registered ballot committees. So, in other words, we don't have federal direct ballot initiatives in this country. We don't have federal direct democracy in this country, at least yet. I would love for that to happen. But we do have it in a lot of different states. But what they're saying is, if a state decides to ban the foreign money, they can. But now you're depending on states to pass a law and do the right thing. And as of right now, only 7 states already ban foreign money from influencing the state initiatives. So in Maine, a Canadian-owned power company financed a ballot committee pushing for new energy transmission lines. And Governor Janet Mills, who's a Democrat, recently vetoed legislation to ban foreign ballot measure funding. So my guess is she's in the pocket of that company. She's doing the bidding of that company. There's some financial incentive there, or else why would she have taken that position? In a 4-2 vote in July, the FEC ruled that ballot initiatives are not elections under existing federal law. Therefore, foreign donation prohibition doesn't apply. This is ludicrous. This is ludicrous. We already have a situation where our politicians represent billionaires, they represent lobbyists, they represent corporations over the people. You've never seen a clearer example of it than with this Build Back Better negotiation, where Democrats went from, we're going to lower all the drug prices to, we're going to lower none of the drug prices to, let's just compromise and lower 10 drug prices by 2025. That's all because Big Pharma owns our politics. Period. That's all that is. Period. What do you think is going to happen here? Pick a country, any country. Doesn't matter how repressive or authoritarian it is. But that money flows in, and their bidding will be done. And they will propagandize the American people on these direct ballot initiatives. Now, thankfully, I will say this. This is the only silver lining. When it comes to these direct ballot initiatives, like 80% of the time, the correct side wins. So sometimes, even with vicious propaganda campaigns, common sense wins out. But the more money, the more influence either corporations or foreign nationals have, the more likely it is you chip away at the win rate for the correct side. So, and beyond that, even just in principle, this is ludicrous. So the same people who yelp and scream and bitch and moan about the fall of America, this facilitates the fall of America. What do you want, some Chinese billionaire or, Communist Chinese Party leader flooding money for state initiatives? Is that what you want? Or some Israeli or Saudi Arabian or UAE or whatever? Is that what you want? So now on top of Merck and Pfizer and GlaxoSmithKline and Lockheed Martin and Raytheon, on top of them, on top of ExxonMobil and Chevron, allow in the foreign corruption too. I mean, this country is a joke. It's a joke. This is a joke. I don't even know where to begin in addressing all of the ways in which we've regressed. We're in a legendary era in American history of hyper-corruption. And I do think that that's how the history books will write this period. Unless we somehow manage to dig our way out of it, which would require a lot, including basically a new FDR. Bleak, man. Bleak shit. Ever since Adpocalypse, when YouTube defunded all independent news and politics overnight, we haven't trusted them. We know they can pull the rug out from underneath us at any time. If you enjoy this content, please consider tipping $1 or $2 per month on the Secular Talk Patreon. Link in the video description box below. Thanks for your support.